I have spent these last few months questioning the architectural design process, in particular my own way of working. How do we come up with ideas? How do we make decisions? How are we influenced by the outside world and by our own? Thus, I developed a self-analysis tool, a meta-diagram of each step happening in my brain while making architecture. How did I come up with this idea of self-analysis tool? I started my master thesis wanting to understand how the digital was changing our architectural practice. To do so, I focused on my own working process and tried to understand when the computer programs were or could be making the decisions and when it had to be me. As time went by, the part of understanding my own working process already fascinated me and seemed to have a lot of potential, regardless of the informatics research. Thus, I started mapping the operations happening in my brain, on paper or on the computer, in the context of architectural projects. This was the very first draft of this diagram, an uninformed diagram. At this point, I mapped my design process very intuitively, only assuming which steps would occur and when and how they would be influenced by others. I then decided to make a traditional project, a student and rental housing competition in Kreuzberg on the Kouvribrache. Making this concrete project would help me develop an informed diagram. In a way, I watched myself while working. This work is not pretending or trying to explain objectively how the architectural design process works. It is subjective, looking at my own way of working. It would look different for each of us. It is capturing my working process today, as a student finishing her master's degrees, with her education in Paris and then at the UDK, and so on. This tool is to be seen like a dynamic membrane, evolving over time. It can absorb new inputs and resorb others. With each project I will make, it will get more complex or adjust itself.